Hi everybody, I'm Richard Michaelone here at Jetstream. My friend Jason Stock, he's working on the XK150 doing the body work. And we're gonna go inside and see what he's been working on. Let's get inside. Okay everybody, I'd like you to meet my friend Jason Stock. He runs Jetstream Custom Auto here and he's been working hard on the XK150.
Well, Rich just brought us the XK150 over yesterday, and we filled a few holes, and we've undone all the body bolts, and we've removed the front inner splash guards and battery box. So now we can actually, hopefully, lift this thing off without a hitch. We also took the doors off and the rear fenders. So next step is to lift off and or getting a divorce, as some people might say.
Got a big divorce. So these things are pretty cool. These are the battery boxes.
Now those guys are a bit of a bear to get in and out, obviously. So they're going to be lots of fun getting them back in. But it should be nice when it's all brand new and not rusty. It's not too much rust, just a little surface here and there.
A lot of restorations you have to buy these new because they're so rusty. So these things are pretty remarkable. A little bit of damage on this one, but...
Now that was already there, guys. Not me, but this is the battery box. And you can tell that other people trying to get the battery in and out and previous maybe fixes have had to... the easy thing to do is bend and twist.
Right,
so,
yeah. I think that's been rusted out once too. I see some welding
there's a
in
bunch
there.
of stuff in there. So we're going to fix that up and well, we'll get blasted. We'll see what it looks like.
The rear fenders came off.
Not too bad. Yeah. You know, we got one broken stud here on this side. Not a big deal. We're going to weld that guy back on.
You can see the fenders are held on with studs that are welded in. And usually the threads rust out. So it's amazing that some of these were able to be preserved. That's awesome. Looking pretty good back here. Wouldn't you say?
I'd say so. I mean, there's I don't see any big rust or major accident damage. So, I mean, hopefully once it's all cleaned up, we'll find out what it looks like.
Awesome. Well, looks good. Let's lift her off.
Okay. Well, let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
You
what
are
that space launch guys do? SpaceX launch, right? We're doing the same thing, but way more epic. We're getting jagged up right about now. Ready? All right, we're going.
Wow, look at that.
Well, we're coming off. We're gonna keep an eye on it, make sure I don't snag anything and damage. But we're looking pretty good.
Look at that.
I've pulled a few bodies before, so we got something catching over here. So let's take a peek and see what's up. Really, I'm just gonna adjust this arm. It's just tagging the frame a little bit there. That one's good. Okay. And this one was a twisted. There we go. Going again.
Yep. I think it's divorced. That's it.
A pretty clean divorce, if you ask me.
Yeah, good job, man. There it is. What an awesome sight. I love it.
Maybe after some nice body and mental therapy, we can get these two back together one day.
Going up. Look at that.
Wow. It's actually not too floppy. The floppiest thing are the inner
Oh
fenders.
yeah, look at that. It's floppy, man.
That's basically
floppy.
that structure there. Is
right.
What keeps all this
yeah, the
from,
battery box holds
moving
that,
around. So.
that side of the fender. And look at this.
I don't think there's anything else we can take on that line bolt.
Well, that's great, Jay. Congrats. That was really smooth. You did a good job. I love it. Look at this. I'm really excited. It's the first Jaguar XK engine here at Owen Automotive. Jason and the guys at Jetstream did an awesome job. 1 day turnaround. They lifted the body off this chassis, wheeled it around the corner, and here it is at Owen Automotive. And Ollie the dog there is trying to get some rest underneath it while I ramble on about Jaguars. So I'm tasked with stripping this thing. I got to take the rear axle out, front suspension, steering rack, and then refinish the whole chassis. I'm going to refinish it as gloss black. You can see the area right here where there was a big washer that was sitting right on the paint. It preserved the gloss black paint. That's not oil on there. So that's the finish I'm going to go for on the chassis. And the first thing I can do is take out the steering rack. And one thing I noticed is that the steering rack has a lot of play. See that there? I can't even, there you go. Look at all that play. It's actually in the mounts. They're really wiggly. And I think there's an upgrade for this. Jason was telling me about this to upgrade these mounts. So definitely want to put new mounts in there because unlike an E-Type, there's no safety. So if those shear off, that's it. You're going into the ditch. So definitely gonna get new mounts, but everything's gonna get renewed. All the new bushings and wheel bearings and rear axle's gonna get looked after. So yeah, we're doing this completely and I'm excited. Look at that, what a sight. Great, okay, I'm gonna get to work. Got that steering rack out of the way and now I wanna deal with the control arm suspension. And the way that it's sprung is with these really long torsion bars. You see this one running all the way back. And it right now is under load, so it's pushing the suspension downward. Now to relieve a little tension, I'm gonna back off this adjuster all the way. This is a nice feature that's not on the E-Types where you can do fine adjustment for the ride height on this nut right here. And there's a locking nut that you can't really see. It's hidden by the frame. You see this locking, they call it a set bolt. So I'm gonna have to loosen that and draw down this nuts. And hopefully it'll relieve the tension so that the shock absorbers can come out without causing too much drama. Although I don't know, I don't think they're under that much tension. We'll see, Let's see how this goes. Just backing out this big 3/4 nut. Oh, I think that's it. All the tension's released. This is gonna be easy. Okay, I think that now with the torsion bar loose, I can release this shock absorber and there's going to be no drama. Let's see. Gotta get this tiny little cotter pin out of here. Oh, look at that. So on an E-Type, you couldn't release the tension, so when you did this, it would really stress out this pin bolt, and you release the whole thing would fall down, but with this system, it's easy. I love it. Now that I've proven there's no tension on these torsion bars, I can remove both their anchor points. This spline muff just was in there with 2 bolts, and it's just gonna slide my way now and fall forward. Look at that. Now I've removed it out the rear too here, so it should just slide. There it is, it's out. Sweet, you can see the splines on there. Yeah, I have to make note that got to put this bolt in before the control arm goes on the frame. And also it was, that spline muff was holding a lot of moisture. Look at that. Nice to just throw some oil in there before it goes back together. Got the torsion bars here on the bench. And the next thing I have to do is really solidify the marks I put on here so these splined adjusters go on exactly the same way and the muffs do on the front. You can barely see the red paint pen line and my punch mark. So what I'm gonna do is just grind a small little groove in there that'll permanently show anybody that's putting these back together where they go. And the other thing I have to note is that on the back side of these torsion bars, they're actually marked the near side for the driver's side and the off side. And they have different part numbers, so they can't be interchanged. They have to go on the correct side of the car. Okay, next up, I want to take this rotor, the hub, the wheel bearings out. And to do that, I need to get to that cotter pin down there in the depths. Look at that. Not a nice job, but somebody has to do it. And you can see my arsenal here. I'm well prepared. We're going to get dirty. I'm going to put my gloves on. Yep, I think I should buy a lottery ticket. Check this out. Ho ho! Out it comes. How sweet is that? Okay, now the whole thing should withdraw and a few wheel bearings might fall on the ground. There we go. Look at that stub axle all greasy. Right on. Okay, let's get this inner wheel bearing out. And now we can have a look at our stub axle and see if it has any grooved or really poor wear on it. Oh yeah, look at that. See that wear on the tip there? Yeah, I think we're good. If I can get this stub axle out, I'm going to replace it. We'll see if any are available. Okay, my next mission is to get this upright out of here. To do that, I got to release the upper and lower ball joints. The upper ball joint's kind of contained by this steering arm. You see the nut hiding way back there? So I'm going to take the steering arm off, slotted nuts, and cotter pins need to come out, and that'll give me a lot more access. Okay, here comes out this steering link. There we go. Get this one bolt out of the way. There we are. And I got two slotted nuts down here that'll let me take off this caliper carrier. Okay, got the last lower bolt out here. And this caliper carrier should come right off. There it comes off. Okay, now I finally got access to that nut holding that upper ball joint on. See how tight it is. There we go. Got it. Okay, let's push this thing out of here. These upper ones are tight. Oh, dude. Just readjusted, you guys. Oh, come on. Come on out of there. Seriously. There it is. Right on. Now you see why you want to keep your hands clear. Just explode apart. That was a lot of energy. Got those uprights out of there. Front suspension's nearly out. That was a big messy job. Glad to have that one done. So now I really have to do the upper and lower control arms. They're held in with these rubber bushes, big thick washers, and slotted nuts. So they come out pretty easy. But one thing I have to respect are the shims. There's shims here on the upper ball joint for the caster setting. And there's shims back here for the camber setting. So I really have to make a note of that. Another thing I do is, I don't know if you notice here, but there's an R there. I stamp an R into all these pieces. Just a light little stamp. That way I know that all these control arms are going to go back on the right side. And yeah, I'm going to deal with it one side at a time. So yeah, these are coming out. That'll be a pretty easy process. Then it's on to the rear end. And one thing my dad noticed is that the rear springs are splayed out. Here, I'll go right over top. Maybe you can see the lower spring is kind of sticking out there. And you move back here, and it's sticking out on the other side over here. So they've been twisted over time. And because of that, I think we're gonna work with Stuart at Coventry Auto and see if we can find some new English-made springs, some high-quality springs. Stuart's on that, so hopefully those will be on the way, and get this rear end out and deal with that. So a few more steps and we'll have a bare chassis ready for blasting and painting. In getting these control arms out, I gotta deal with the bushings. I'll show you what that's like. And as I'm fighting this, you'll see that the bushing's actually coming off this knurled shaft, and that's why I'm fighting it. It doesn't quite want to come off so clean. So let's see how this goes. Okay, let's see if we get any movement. Yep, there we go. There it is, there's the sleeve. Don't want to block it with you too much. And it's off there. Yeah, that looked really easy, but these can be stubborn. The lower ones especially, they're a lot larger and harder to get off, but it gives you an idea of what's going on with those bushings anyhow. Nearly got this chassis completely bare, but I'm hung up on the rear leaf springs. What happens is there's a bolt pin here that just gets rusted into a bushing, and it's totally impossible to deal with. The Heelys suffer from this too. So I've already heated this up and banged on it a lot, and I can't get it to come normally. So instead, I'm gonna get the reciprocating saw out, and we're gonna cut those bolts out. And then finally have the chassis ready for paint. Okay, I think it's out. Look at that. Fantastic. Okay, those are the last two pieces off the car. Got the springs off. Show you what I was up against. You see there's this 3.5 inch long bolt that I've cut into 3. And it's actually rusted in place into this sleeve. And the sleeve won't slide through the frame, so that's why I had to cut it off. There's a big thick washer in there too. But yeah, really happy to get those off because now the chassis is barren. Can't take anything more off. Okay, look at this. Just a few days later, we're here back at Jetstream, and Jason's gonna give us a tour of what he's done.
Hey guys, I'm filthy because I've been working today, but here we are. Jag's ready to get picked up for sandblasting, and we spent the last day and a half building a new jig for this specific body, so it can actually, on the pickup points and all the body mounts, so it's safe and secure, and it isn't gonna bend or twist on us while we move it around. And also has a lot of access for the blaster and my painter, so you can actually get in all nooks and crannies and paint. Yeah,
it looks pretty good. Looks really solid. Like it's almost good enough to do the metalwork on this, right?
You know, everything's solid. You know, these fenders are about the floppiest part of the car, so we're gonna be adding little braces in there to hold them up, stiffeners. But we did a few repairs ahead of time before blasting. We had a bunch of broken studs. I think we've replaced a couple there, and several on the other side. And a few extra holes, mirror holes, antenna hole, and seatbelt holes, which this car never came with. So
I like what you've done here to support the back. That's really sweet.
Yeah,
the chassis kicks up.
Every car has its different little problems on how to attach it and make it fit nice. So, oh, I hear a tow truck.
Okay, yeah. So this thing's going to sandblast. It's getting picked up right now. And okay, yeah, let's swap it around. Let's see what that looks like. Going around the world tour, guys. Around the world.
Want to say hi to Andy? Yes.
Woohoo, this is great. Lots of action. Look at that. That's sweet.
Yeah. Hold on to the step. Take a walk through there.
That's amazing. Look at that. All the way, just cranking on it. Sweet, what a view. Whoa, whoa.
Whoa, that's the rotisserie, folks.
It's upside down now.
Upside down jag. We're getting jagged down, now we're gonna get jagged up.
That's awesome, Jay. I love that way that
Got it nice and centered. That's a tricky part, you know?
Yeah. That works like a charm. Good work, man. I love it. Woo. Good workout too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There you go.
Good stuff.
Jag on a spit.
Yeah, awesome. So off it goes to sandblast. Looking good.
Good timing, man. It's like you staged the whole thing. Wow, you're on it.
Okay, well that does it for this episode of the Jaguar XK150 project. It feels really good to have more hands on deck. The guys at Jetstream are doing a really great job. Really fast turnaround on that body. I think it's going to be on this frame sooner than later. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. As always, if you have any tips, tricks, cons, or trade secrets, I'd love to hear from you. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.